All right, so let me say hello and welcome to each and every one of you. Doug here with the LincolnList.com, and I want to welcome you to another daily edition of Stock Market Mutterings, where I always say I'll do my best to take a grope in the murkiness, try to make some sense out of the stock market for you, try to share some of my favorite trade ideas and setups with you, and I hope it helps make you guys a couple of dollars. Now, if you really want to take your trading to the next level, I've been talking about it here now for a while. I just moved into this new office. Everything's done live in real time on screen, live streaming every day that the market is open here. So if you guys really want a hands-on experience on what traders look for, how to find the right types of setups, how to manage your trades and work your way through any type of market, whether it's a dull market, a sideways market, a bullish market, or a bearish market, go ahead and click the link right there. Each and every one of you are welcome to trade with me each day that the market was open. Love to have you guys there. So if you guys were watching yesterday or the last couple of days, I've been talking about this is like the curmudgeon week. I just couldn't get anything going. Wasn't losing a lot of money. I just wasn't able to get anything going. But I said, you know, eventually here this week, I'm going to sink my claws like a savage Viking into something. Today was that day, man. Today was that day. Because you know what I say, Cant is the cancer of happen.
And I cured my brain. That's how. Everybody has the power. Just because everybody, you know, Cant is the cancer of happen. Cant is the cancer of happen.
I don't even know what that means. I just thought it was cute. Anyway, just trying to entertain you as well. So today is kind of summed up as everybody forgot what happened yesterday. And you get these days. This is what drives traders crazy when they first start. At least it did me. I should say at least it did me. Is some people always have this need to make sense out of everything. And that's one thing that we really can't do with the market because it is senseless. It never makes sense when you really think about it. So you're coming from the last 2 days where everybody is in a panic. They're selling off whatever was sold yesterday, whatever was buried yesterday. People were selling Nvidia all day long. They were selling Tesla all day long. They were selling, ROKU. And here today, everybody is just stampeding over each other to buy those back. And as I'm doing this here, I've got the Dow futures up here on the screen. Just non-stop. I mean, it's just non-stop melt, melt, melt. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of these big gap up days because I feel like a lot of the value has been taken out of the day. So we haven't made tons of moves since we've opened. But it's been grinding it out and it's been pretty consistent. So I'm just going to go quickly over the trades that we have, show you what I was looking for. I've always talked about this check mark pattern here and it worked great. I took just 2 trades. I'm going to post them up there on the screen for you. Took Facebook and ROKU. And these are the types of trades that I like. And I think these types of trades work for most traders. And you guys can start putting this in if you like. If not, don't worry about it. But I just want to share with you what I do. I never like buying things at high of day. I've said that several times. I don't like shorting things at low of day because I always feel like I'm chasing. And I'm like this price monger, right? I'm always worried about my price I pay. I shouldn't say worry, but I'm always cognizant of the price I pay and my relation to where I'm at on the chart. So that's what I want to share with you today is where am I at in the chart? What's my potential upside? What's my potential downside if I'm shorting? And I'm thinking about that alpha move. Like how much am I actually going to get or what's the possibilities? I'm going to grab as much as I can. So I always have this feeling that if I'm buying something at high of day, in most cases, I'm robbing myself of upward potential. So I like to look at really strong stocks. You had Facebook, which I talked about over the last week, was something I was looking at. And I wasn't looking at it because I thought there was news coming out on it, which is what caused this spike. I was thinking about it because I'm like, man, tech's just been off the rails. And this thing isn't getting any attention whatsoever, right? So it's just like, just sitting here doing nothing. And I'm like, eventually they're going to pick this up. So today you get some news and I'm like, I'm not chasing this thing plus 10, plus 11 first thing in the morning. There's just no way I'm going to do that. But if it pulls back, if it sinks into support, like I always say, fade me down into support, fade me into a VWAP, fade me into moving average, build me a base where I can get good risk to reward, I'll take it. And you got, like I said, the old standard check mark, starting up here high, pulling in, just like the check mark, right? And then just grinding it on back out. You guys always look for that nice check mark. Yeah, maybe I should trademark the check mark. But that's what it did. Come down here, built a nice base. I'll open up the chart just a little bit more. And that base just gives me something to work with. Now, this wasn't the best base. I would have much rather seen it come down here to where the pre-market low was, or a piece of the pre-market low right in this spot. But sometimes that's just the way it is. It just doesn't do that. But once it started to curl back up here, I got long. Of course, the target's always high of day. And it came up to high of day, traded sideways, and then made one last push. And as I'm still doing this here, it's still grinding away. Who knows? It may end in 186s. So on that note, watch this thing tomorrow. Like I said, it's been somewhat of a laggard compared to everyone else over the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's a little too much today. It needs some digestion on it, but I still like it. I think you're going to get a couple of days of momentum, at least prior to their earnings here on the Facebooks. That was good. Better is ROKU, because ROKU defines what it is I love to do, and my favorite trading setup. It defines the actual check mark to its maximum. And you saw that yesterday, is where you really go, you just take the thing from a gap up into the gap and go red. Then you're on the bottom there, and the thing goes from red to green. To me, that is a tier 1 top play. And this is why I keep pounding the table on this, guys. Instead of fighting at the high of day or fighting at the low of day where everyone else is trying to pile on and chase things and use emotional trades and emotional money, you're thinking this out, that you're going to get into this stock at almost what you feel time-wise, support-wise, chart-wise is an absolute bottom, or you're pretty confident that it's above an 80% chance you've reached that bottom, at least short-term, and then you put yourself in the position to capture all of it. Now, not all of them run like ROKU did today. This was spectacular. I'll give it that. That was fantastic. I was actually only looking at maybe 100 to 101 tops. But this is what you got to be in the trade to get it, right? You have to position yourself the best that you possibly can in every trade that you make. Some will give you what you want. Some will exceed your expectations, and some, quite frankly, will disappoint the hell out of you. That's just how trading is. But at least your risk and reward is laid out. And this is just beautiful. Just going red, shaking everyone down, finding a base into a shorter term support where you had listed over 2 days. You can see you had a little support hanging around down here in the 98s. Yesterday you had a little bit here in the 98s. Didn't quite make it there, but it was close enough to 98 for you to get a good idea of where you wanted risk. And then here's your old check mark, just come firing away, red to green. Now it's back up here at resistance. And this is what I'm talking about. What's important for you guys as traders? When you want to make money, you want to be, like I keep saying, on the right side of this where you have the max alpha in your favor. Because if you're buying here, here's the question I present to you if anyone's thinking about buying here. Asking if it's too late. And the answer in most cases, yes, it is. That doesn't mean it won't go higher. But look at your risk and reward. Look at the odds in your favor or not in your favor on a trade like this. Because now you're at resistance. You're just a few ticks away from 103, which is mega resistance. It's been straddling over the last couple of days. And this thing's just run from 99 to 103. So the theory is if you buy this here, what you're asking the stock to do is you're going to buy it at 103. And it's going to continue to run for the remainder of the day to 106, 110 or something. Maybe that's just not in the cards right now. That's something that's maybe on the table tomorrow. But that's what we talk about in our room. That's the kind of trades that we look at. Is we always want to be in the right position on the chart, the best that we can. Can't always do it perfectly, but you want to do it the best you can. Now with those two, you know, I made up everything that I lost the first 2 days of this week and then some. Like I said, you just got to be patient. You stick to your strategies, stick to your ways, and then things always turn out. Just don't panic. Just keep plugging away. It's a day-by-day thing. Some days are good. Other days you got to fight, you know. And I'm just a human being like everyone else. That's why I share this with you. Share that I had two bumpy days, but through those days, I was able to manage my losses well. And I was able to control emotions and not get frustrated and stay focused. And then there you go. Just needs one good day. And we'll see how the rest of it works out. So now where we stand when we're looking at the market, we've got to kind of think now, if I pull up this daily chart just a little bit more here, still with this SPY like I was talking about, if we're going to stay above, pretty much in my mind, this 264, that we're still relatively bullish. This is still a consolidated pattern here. Although the ranges are extremely exaggerated, everything is kind of like stretched and wide. It's still bullish if you can just kind of block the noise and the mess out for a second. It's still short-term bullish. I mean, we're still way off the highs, the all-time highs, but it's still consolidating in this area. And until we get underneath of that, I would expect we'll have more bullish days than we'll have bearish days. Now, if we get underneath that, that's a different story, but so far it looks pretty good. And I would say if you clean out 287s, then we're looking at another consistent rally that, in my opinion, would most likely just take us straight to 300. So you know, that it is what it is. It is what it is. I know we got this little oil thing here overhanging, so just keep an eye on those levels up there. As long as we're holding around the 267s, 264s, we're good. And it's just melting away today, so I don't know if we're going to get a fade here, but it's what it is today, right? Everybody was selling yesterday, and everybody's buying today. So when we look at what we want to talk about tomorrow, I want to go back and I want to talk a little bit about ROKU one more time. I'm going to continue to ride this stock as long as I possibly can. Now you're looking at this daily after today's performance. If it closes up in this 103, here's what I would like to see. I would like to see it not get to 103. I just want it to stay right here where it is. I know that's a big ask here, but I'd like for it to stay right here where it is. Maybe we could get lucky, or I say lucky. Maybe I'll regret those words. Or you get a pullback tomorrow of 101, 100, kind of like what you saw today, and then you get that standard check mark. You get a base into support, and then it cleans out 103. Nonetheless, 103 is a big number going forward. There's been some resistance over the last couple of days that you can see right here in your daily charts, 103, 104 spots. You can get through that. The highs there is the 105s. I would feel 103 clear to 104 was going to just take out 105 quickly. Then you're looking at a daily chart break, which could be a 110, a 112 run, who knows, but this is a pretty good setup. It's a very bullish stock. It continues to be accumulated. Dips continue to be bought aggressively. 2 days in a row here. Every time that thing gets down to $99, it's just consumed, you know, like a Twinkie at a Weight Watchers meeting or something, and they're just on this. This stock's got momentum. And as long as it's got momentum, it's like ROKU last year. Just ride that as long as you can, because one day it will all be over. You won't get a chance, so you have to go find somebody else. But I'm going to continue to work here with ROKU. So always keep that one up. Now, I also want to take a look at Starbucks. I can't believe I'm talking about Starbucks. I never thought there'd be a day where I'd be talking about volatility and range in something like Starbucks. But this daily chart, look at this daily chart. And we're getting into this situation where all of these daily range breaks are turning into absolute monsters. This is what happened to BABA. This is what happened to NVIDIA. They just took off and just kept on going and going. So I like this one too. I talked about it the other day. I did not trade this today. It's way, way too high for me to mess around with right now as far as a trade, but there is some range in those. I also talked about TWLO, TWLO. Here's another one that's lining up on the daily, a stock that's just kind of been pushed aside, a former runner that went through a really bullish cycle a couple of years ago, running from like 30 to 120. Looks like it's kind of gathering its momentum here. So I like these as some additional names. Outside of that, I think you got to continue to just cycle these same basket of names. Like if you get pullbacks on NVIDIA, you get pullbacks on Apple. I mean, maybe this downgrade on Apple, pullback for a couple of days, is a good opportunity to long this. It's up a little too much today for me to want to mess with it right now. Facebook, I still think, now with this news, it's got some chance to run for a couple of days. So that's always going to be my list. It's going to be NVIDIA, it's going to be ROKU, it's going to be BABA, it's going to be Facebook, PayC, LULU. I think I probably even left somebody out. But stay with those names. They still have good charts. Mainly the tech. The tech is still strong, even after this couple of day sell-off. I mean, look at the Qs today. They're just rolling. But tomorrow's another day. Just as we saw yesterday was nothing but bearish, and then everybody's stampeding now to buy, we could see the complete flip of that. I mean, everybody's selling everything tomorrow. Who knows? This is what trading is all about. You let the market do what it wants, and then you react accordingly. So anyway, guys, if you need any help, make sure you visit thelincolnlist.com. Click on the Trade Room tab. Click on the link that appears on your screen. Love to have you guys there. Love to help you achieve your goals and get to where you need to. As always, if you need just general help, you want to reach out to me for any kind of questions. I'm not a snob. I'm not too good for anyone. I'm just a regular guy trading some stocks. Send me an email, support@lincolnlist.com. Until tomorrow, trade them well. Talk to you then.